So today we are going to do something different. I haven't reviewed or analyzed YouTube drama in a while, or influencer drama, but I remember this case of what's the name? The Wizard Liz and Landon Nickerson reminded me of my Derek Jackson video, which is one of my classic analysis. And some of you that have been with me from the beginning, you remember that Derek Jackson video. And this is about toxic relationship and how to spot those signals. So yes, when you're in a relationship and you sometimes see smirks or some smug smiles at times that they just don't fit, or see obvious signs of love bombing at the start of the relationship, we have all of that here and then some more. So before we get started, I want to give you, for some of you who don't know who they are, the Wizard Liz, a popular self-help and manifestation influencer. That manifestation is going to be important later on. Was engaged to American YouTuber and entrepreneur Landon Nickerson. The couple announced their engagement in September 2024 and frequently share the relationship. Cheating revelation in late May 2025. More exactly like what? It was like 2 days ago. Liz revealed by Instagram that she discovered Landon had been cheating on her while she was 4 months pregnant. Nobody knew that she was pregnant. And she, well, upon this cheating scandal, the guy was cheating on her, messaging a girl on Snapchat. Who uses Snapchat? This is a grown-ass man using Snapchat. What? Oh, well. The cheating came to light when Liz found out Landon was using a secret Snapchat account to communicate with another woman. The truth surfaced after the woman contacted one of Liz's friends and provided evidence of the affair. The reason why my lovely body language buddies are asking me to analyze this video is because this video, she released this video on her channel like 2 days before the cheating scandal exploded. So they were in this video, we're going to answer these questions about ourselves, and we're going to, we are this happy couple. But behind closed doors, the guy was already, he was misbehaving, let's say. And I have to say a couple things about this. The first thing is that I'm going to start with the love bombing, okay? Many of you don't know who they are, but I want to start with the love bombing, and then we're going to address how did they met at an airport, which was very suspicious. Then we're going to see some body language signals of she being really vulnerable and he having these odd smiles, and moments in which maybe her spider sense was tingling, and she was talking about, when a man cheats, maybe a man cheats texting another woman and his behavior changed. And we have another clip as well that we're going to review when he was talking about trust in a marriage. Again, there is a lot in here, but let's start with this clip about the love bombing. This is obvious signs of love bombing.
I told this.
Oh my God, my sound is, as usual, is all over the place. Why does it happen when I'm recording? I'm recording right now. This is going to be real quick. Okay. Sound is right. Here we go.
I told this woman that I loved her within 36 hours of knowing her. And I literally told her within 36 hours, I was like, look, this is going to sound like a lot, and I'm sorry, because I know it's weird, but I know I'm supposed to marry you, and that's weird as heck. But
you're right, buddy. That is weird as heck. You told her within 36 hours of meeting her for the first time that the that coincidence of meeting at the airport, and going on this trip to Santorini. You told her that you were going to marry her in 3 days. That is a lot. I know that is a lot, but okay, maybe the guy was overly attached, but then this happened.
I fell in love when I realized I was in love when I was back in my apartment. This is like, I think 1 month later of us meeting.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Couple weeks, 1 month. Let's give it the average, right? 3 weeks. 3 weeks after they met, okay. First 3 days, 36 hours after they met for the first time, he told her, okay, we're going to marry. And this is 3 weeks roughly after they met. What happened?
Yeah, so you were in the US, I was back in my apartment, and then Landon had ordered me like 750 flowers, and like the security wouldn't let those flowers
They were
up.
so heavy.
Yeah, they were so heavy, and they literally like had to carry them in with like 5 men.
Okay, you can be, again, you can be a millionaire, and the guy is a very successful YouTuber, I understand, and he's an entrepreneur, and maybe you can afford to just send 750 flowers. That is like a lot, right? That is it's a bit excessive. I don't know. It's my opinion, especially if you haven't known each other for not even a month. All right, so those are obvious signals of love bombing. The thing that manipulators do. That's very quick barrage of love displays. Flowers. I just love you. We were meant to be with each other, which brings us to the way that they met as a manifestation of each other at that airport. And that's when there are these claims that he was stalking her. And I want to, this section of the video was rather long. I'm going to give you a very brief summary. That day he messaged her through Instagram. It is my understanding while he still was in a relationship. And apparently she wants to make it clear that when they began really messaging, apparently he was single. I don't have proof of that. I'm going to take her words at face value, but she wants the people to be sure. She wants to make sure that people don't say that he was stalking her, and she says that in this clip.
And the thing I want to clarify, because a lot of people think that you stalked me,
which is crazy, by the way. First got engaged and Liz posted that video. There were some comments that were like, "I think this guy is like an upper stalker."
I want to say before we address that random encounter at an airport, I'm going to say that the first thing that this appeared in my timeline on X, then I saw it on Instagram, and my first reaction to these two people speaking is like, at least in this video, I saw zero chemistry in here. I mean, zero chemistry. I mean, are this a couple? Seriously? He was rather, I saw his body language rather disengaged. He was always leaning away from her, like protecting from her. Always touching his face, always playing with his beard. At times he was more interested as fixing his hair on the camera than paying attention to her. It was a bit odd. It was a bit odd. She looked like she was really happy and joyful with him. Like she was happy for him to be her man, but he was mostly disengaged. There was a complete disengagement from him. That was my appreciation, and that's when I found out that she was on this trip. She's very cautious with her whereabouts, where she is, as any influencer should be. She didn't tell anybody where she was going. She was going to Santorini, had to make this stop in Athens. And all of a sudden, he was also traveling through the same airport. Just try to let this sink in. Same airport, at the same time, at the same gate. I mean, these are coincidences in life, but this is Hallmark movie kind of a coincidence. I mean, and okay, I can understand there are coincidences in life. Sometimes life imitates art. Sometimes reality is stranger than fiction. But then when they begin to, especially when he begins to talk like this, notice.
And as I'm walking, I I try to be observant, but I'm like looking around, and then I walked a step and I felt like I entered just like a new dimension. Not to sound crazy, but I took a step forward and I felt like I walked through a veil almost. And then immediately I sensed that I need to look up right over here, and I look up and I see Liz sitting.
So this is, I'm going to just, this is my appreciation. This guy is like a tech YouTuber, more like a tech YouTuber. I was looking at his channel, and he was speaking here like this mystical encounter, this manifestation. That's what I told you. That was important to mention, that she is a manifestation influencer, and he is talking about encounters. Oh yeah, this energy that led me to that. He's speaking in her language, all right? He's not speaking from a tech bro language. No, he's like, oh, this was completely, which is at the same time a bit suspicious, right? Somebody who is very good with technology, well, had this mystical encounter with this girl, and this girl was really, she said that she had a cap and a mask, and he just saw in that direction and just found her at an airport at the same time, in a precise gate. I'm going to say, okay, coincidence can exist, but boy, when he began to talk in that way, when he began to speak in a way that sounds what she says, the manifestation, he's trying to mimic what she does. And you add that to the love bombing, bro, that these are red flags. I mean, this is not as much body language, but it's a lot of common sense. These are signals that are beyond body language, and you have to pay attention to. And there's also this.
But I remember, like, when we were talking, I felt such an energy come over me. Like, I literally explained to my friend.
I found it interesting that when she was speaking about that energy. Okay, now it's her turn to talk about the mystical energy and that. And he found it funny.
Like, I literally
notice that?
Felt such an energy come over me. Like, I literally explained.
It's like, yeah, it's like he finds it funny. If he was serious about the mystical thing, he would be serious about the mystical thing when she is speaking in those terms. And you notice that the way that she talks, which is the way that she is in her YouTube channel, is, well, the way that he was mimicking. And when she was saying that, he laughed a bit. But he also laughed at another very disturbing moment when she was being vulnerable. And she was talking about her upbringing. She was talking about her family, how she felt that she didn't felt, maybe she didn't, it's not like she did not felt love, but they didn't say I love you, that she had to see a psychiatrist, and his reaction is concerning.
When I grew up with my parents, we never hugged at home.
Mm-hmm.
I never even heard I love you or something from my parents. Like, first time I ever heard that from my mom was when I was like 14, and I told her I was getting a psychiatrist at school.
She mentions the psychiatrist first time, and you see his face, and he touches his nose, and there's absolutely no expression. Okay, I'm gonna give him a pass this time, but then,
because you know what was happening at home, they caught wind of it, and they were assigning me a psychiatrist. So,
and you see his glee when she says that she was assigned a psychiatrist. Why would he had like that smug face?
Caught wind of it, and they were assigning me a psychiatrist. So, and then
he even laughs. If he finds that funny, how would you find that funny if you know that the love of your life was going through that? She was feeling like that with her family, and you.
So, and then when I said that,
man, it's if we are talking about red flags, I think that was the greatest red flag of in terms of she's speaking and him reacting. But then we have a couple more clips before going into the thick of it. This is another one.
I'm not really a jealous person.
I kind of am.
You are.
Yeah, naturally I'm more of a...
And very possessive.
To be honest.
And very controlling.
But you're my girl.
Yeah, okay.
You're my baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is saying that. They both agree upon that he is very, they said that, possessive and controlling. I don't know. I will let you judge that. Maybe you can comment if you find that bad or good. Possessive and controlling. I don't know. They say it with such a nonchalant attitude.
Yeah, naturally I'm more of a...
And very possessive.
To be honest.
And very controlling.
But you're my girl.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that she was okay with that, him being possessive and controlling, because she believed that, well, he was not talking to other girls. But you have to remember the wizard list. You have to remember that he messaged you originally when he was in a relationship. Okay, that is what I'm seeing all over the internet. So it is not really like a stretch to think that could happen to you. It's sad that you're 4 months pregnant, but well, it's live by the sword, die by the sword. 2 more clips until we get to the most outrageous part.
His mood swings. He has mood swings.
Oh my goodness.
Crazy mood swings.
Okay, you want to be this real? And we're gonna start airing each other out? Really? Okay.
Okay, mood swings. I found that concerning, that she mentioned that he's possessive, that he's controlling, and he's got mood swings. All right. Okay, we can move on.
But for me, like, the relationship I had before that, I saw as my first real relationship, because that was the first time I spent every day with a man.
I thought I had included
but
one.
For me, the relationship I had before that, I saw as my first real relationship, because that was the first time I spent every day with a man.
Notice that he was more interested in trying to fix his hair than to really address what was going on. I thought I had included that when he said, I think that what he said, I think that should be here. I think I missed that.
I think this is your first real relationship, to be honest.
But yeah.
Notice how he says, I just missed that. I knew there was right in there. I thought I had included. I think this is your first real relationship. Okay, he's telling everybody, like, just like that. I think this is this relationship with me is your first real relationship. All of those relationships were fake, and yes, well, I'm gonna say it. Maybe it is. Maybe this is the one. But again, it's a bit odd that you say these things in front of a camera, right? It's like all of those other, attempts at relationships were not real, and especially the way that he says that.
I think this is your first real relationship, to be honest.
But yeah. You gotta zoom in on his face, because that is a body language worth looking at.
I think this is your first real relationship, to be honest.
But for me, like, the relationship I had before.
Yeah, to be honest, I am the real deal. I am the one. I am the chosen one. But then, we come to the thing that if you have been following this drama, this is what you've been looking for. These are the 2 clips that, sparked a frenzy on the internet. You have to watch this. And even if you don't know who these people are, you're gonna have a great time with this.
There's a difference between possessiveness and jealousy and like a healthy form and just insecurity. And your partner...
And by the way, he had already said that he was possessive, and she had already said that he was possessive. And he is trying to make a distinction between being possessive and just being jealous or something like that. It's like, they're trying to add relativity to it, or he's trying to add relativity to it.
Your partner, if you have a relationship with somebody who's ever done something that makes you insecure, like that's something to pay attention to. And it's not a good partnership if the person is going to choose someone else over you. Like that defeats the whole point. But forgiveness is a big thing. So if you have ever had a trust issue come up, you got to learn how to forgive and work through that. Otherwise, that'll just turn into...
You have to remember that he's talking about forgiveness when there are trust issues and all this stuff and all this gobbledygook, all this, like hours before being caught texting another woman, which is we know that this was one woman. We don't know if there was more than one woman.
Crippling insecurity that you suffer with.
Depends what the trust issue was. If the person is like texting other people.
Yeah, well, there's different like degrees of severity for sure.
Notice how he lowers his voice. That was the most important body language tale when she says, if the person is texting other people. I think that she was sensing something. She was feeling something. She was there. I'm going to say the words. She might have said subconsciously, and he lowered his voice tone. I'm going to play that again.
That you suffer with.
Depends what the trust issue was. If the person is like texting other people.
She was very clear, like 24 hours after all this happened, that texting other people is going to generate a trust issue. And this guy did not care. And she said that in front of a camera, in front of literally millions, because this video has millions of views in YouTube. And well, all that he could do was lower his voice.
If the person is like texting other people.
Yeah, well, there's different like degrees of severity for sure.
There are different degrees of severity, of sure. Maybe texting other people is not a big deal. That's why I'm lowering my voice. I sound like an ASMR channel now. But it's right there. It's right there. She was, I think that one part of her was trying, I'm going to say this, just to see how he reacts in front of the camera, in front of our audience, our shared audience that want us to answer these questions. And then the other clip, the final clip that you're going to watch.
I would say it's not a great message. It's honestly a toxic message. This thing I've seen people saying of like, oh, you can never trust a man. Like, never trust your husband. Like, he may just cheat on you. You never know. It's like, at the end of the day, the man and the woman have to be trusting each other and taking that. That is what builds a good relationship. It is a foundation of trust. And so if both sides are like too edgy and thinking like, oh, I can't trust each other, like one another, then that won't work.
So let me get this straight. He was giving advice of trust in a marriage, just like that. And after all that they have said and all the signals that we have seen, all the stuff that we, determined that, let's say what was happening, he had the goals to say, yeah, let's talk about trust in a relationship.
I would say it's not a great message. It's honestly a toxic message. This thing I've seen people saying of like, oh, you can never trust a man.
Oh, you can never trust a man. And I think that she was having second thoughts. I think that she was realizing that not only by listening to him, the way that he was speaking, the way that he was addressing the situation, the way that they were like making the summary of their private life, of their relationship, because that's something that maybe sharing that in front of the camera helped her realize things. And in hindsight, I saw many comments under that video that were saying that she should not delete that video even as embarrassing as it is of having published this video like less than 2 days before this scandal exploded, that she realized that he was texting other women, and he published an apology. I'm not going to include that apology in this analysis. I just want to focus on this one. But it's the girl, is the, how can you be such a hypocrite of saying these words just like this in front of the camera, like, oh yeah, let's talk about trust. And she could talk about trust, not you. And I noticed in many instances as well, not only about the body language, that she was saying some statements about how a healthy relationship should be, and he was just following whatever she said. Again, their body language, their chemistry, I wouldn't say that it was even all over the place. I would say that it was non-existent, at least in this video. Maybe in past videos, maybe they had more chemistry. I really hadn't seen those. But seeing this one, upon first impression, I said, no, this ain't it. And especially when he speaks like this.
Like, oh, you can never trust a man. Like, never trust your husband. Like, he may just cheat on you. You never know. It's like, at the end of the day, the man and the woman have to be trusting each other and taking that. That is what builds a good relationship.
Yeah,
it is a
course.
Foundation of trust. And so if both sides are like too edgy and thinking like, oh, I can't trust each other, like one another, then that won't work.
No, that won't work. Yeah, definitely that would not work. So I told you that we would have the whole enchilada of those red flags. Those were mainly red flags. The love bombing at the start of the relationship, that never ends well. That never ends well. The out of character, trying to mimic the way that she speaks, and this mystical way of, we met each other. I mean, it could have been a coincidence, but we men, we straight men, we don't speak in those terms, much less if we are heavily into tech. All right? We are highly practical. We could say it was such a coincidence. We could say about, you know what? We could talk about the time of the flights. We could talk about in so many ways, but not like the mystical thing. No, that is, if you're a straight guy, no, that ain't gonna happen. The way that he smiled, those smug smiles when she was being vulnerable, when she was retelling all this energy that she felt about him at that airport, he was laughing when she was saying that she felt vulnerable and she had to get a psychiatrist. He laughed as well. All those are red flags. And when she addresses the thing that, maybe, when a couple have trust issues or trust issues arise in a relationship in which the man is possessive and controlling, that is important. I would say that him having that attitude and saying this, I'm going to review this very quickly, the texting other people and lowering his voice tone, that was the deal breaker for me. All right. Yeah, she said the words and he reacted. Now, I really would like to know what you think about this in the comments. Remember to download my 100 body language tips, and I'm going to give you right next here my analysis of the Derek Jackson, a classic video that also has a lot of red flags and will teach you a lot about toxic relationships. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Much love and bliss.